In your line of work, James, how would you describe what is going on energetically?
Well, basically, when you have these planetary alignments, we have what we call a jump, a link, you might say. And the energy from the sun or wherever it's coming, even if the energy is coming in from galactic core or the center of this galaxy or coming through another universe, wherever this is coming from, basically the bottom line is as it comes through, it activates the sun. As the sun activates and it expands, it's going to utilize the energies of each one of these planets. And so we find these planets do have influences, and when these energies, certain alignments happen, you might say, it's like an electric universe. It supercharges the experience, and so basically whatever's happening. When I talk a lot to the Palladians, what they told me is that they use natural forces and natural influences in their work, and so they wait for certain times to work with the grid, to work with the denser energies that are psychometrized into the earth. They help us to release the past during certain times. They can be more active during certain times. There's more of an opening. They use natural forces and natural opportunities or alignments to do their work as well. So it's important to understand, when these alignments are happening, how they're affecting, everybody. And, the bottom line, I love to quote this one research that they did at Stanford Research Institute, is they exposed monkeys to fluctuations in the magnetic field. And what happened is these monkeys exhibited behavior from comatose to self-mutilation, the whole gamut. And we're seeing people acting, just doing crazy things to where they're either killing themselves or their family. They're just going off on people, on friends and family. They're flipping out. And basically a lot of that's due to these fluctuations and this incredible insurge of energy that's coming in. And it's kind of par for the course. It's part of the process. Now, the thing is that we have a choice. Do we want to behave like monkeys, or do we want to be, lords of our reality, you might say? Do we want to claim dominion over our experience and our choices and learn self-discipline in these arenas? And when we know this energy is coming in, we can depersonalize and go, oh, boy, there's a coronal mass ejection. It's going to hit the Earth. People are going to get really agitated. There's a full moon. Maybe I better just kind of contain myself right now and be the observer and allow this to just pass. We can do that. We have the ability to do that, or we can just flip out and act like monkeys and go gonzo on the rest of the planet. And that's our choice too. But there is a reaction to the latter, and it's a lot easier path to just become the observer and allow and understand the process. And sometimes, you might want to have a little retreat of your own, a little meditation room to go to allow this to pass.
Okay, our next listener question is, can you give the ET perspective on the Gulf oil spill?
Boy, that's a long one. I've sent some letters out on the newsletter. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, just go to eceti.org. It's eceti.org, and you can go and sign up for the newsletter, and you can read some of the old ones I've sent out. And what they told me was that, and this is going to be hard for some people, is that there is purposeful good in there, in what happens. And during this process, what we've seen is a huge exposure of what's really going on. And we need to learn lessons from this. There's some very in-your-face lessons, such as, people in Congress blocking any investigation whatsoever into this situation and how it happened and who's responsible for it. And why would they block that? Why would they block an inquiry into this? And the answer is very simple. Look at who's donated to their campaign, and you'll see the major oil companies are part of this. So basically, they aren't there on your behalf. I mean, if you haven't figured that by now, somebody's just not paying attention. So we've seen this. We've seen the mass cover-up on the extent of what is really going on there. We're seeing with James Fox doing oil samples, water samples there. They're finding them 150 times more toxic than necessary to kill the fish. And they're covering up core exit, how toxic that is. Some scientists say it's 10 times more toxic. In the news they're saying it's 4 times more toxic than the oil itself. And now we're hearing, come down to the beaches and swim. It's fun, bring the whole family. And the air down there is so full of benzene and methane and everything else. There's going to be some real serious consequences to this. And a lot of the people that were involved in the cover-up, or the cleanup, you might say, too, as well, are all getting very sick and very ill. And some are dying, actually. So that has been covered up. There's a major cover-up there as well. You add some of the people I know that went down there to check it out, to report on it, came back very sick. They got very sick afterwards, very ill. So, anyway, it's not cleaned up by any means. They're laying off the workers. They're laying off the boats. They're supposed to be out there cleaning up. They're doing everything they can to sink it, so you can't see it. It will come up on the beach later. It's sad. There's still, whales and porpoises dying. The sea floor is just getting, wiped out. It's not a pretty picture at all, and it's very, very ugly. And it's being, so far, we haven't heard 1/10 of the truth of what really happened there. And I heard them playing "Happy Days Are Here Again" on the radio. They capped it, and then they didn't cap it, and then they capped it, and then they didn't cap it, and then they found out the whole floor was erupted, and then they found out the whole casing was corroded and that it was leaking everywhere along the casing. So I'm really hoping they finally did cap it. They're saying they did. They're saying that the top kill effort this time was a success, and now they're saying the bottom kill they're going to do to ensure it is going to finish it off, once and for all. Hopefully that's true. I know someone said there's actually 37 leaking wells out there. There may be more that are leaking. There's oil coming up from the sea floor where it's been ruptured. There's a lot of serious things going on in the ocean that we aren't being told about. And it's time, I think, this is a big lesson in bringing out the fuelless energy, the alternative energy. It's time to realize that it's not going to come through the politicians. It's not going to come through any of the major corporations. It's got to be a grassroots effort to bring this out. And, basically, we have to realize that the major corporations own the media and they own the direction of this country. And until the people figure this out and decide that they want to go in a different direction, we'll continue on that path. And so I think this was like an oily slap in the face, I've said this before, of all humanity to take a good, hard look at who's making the decisions and why they're making those decisions and the direction that we're going on this planet. Now, as far as the ETs involved, everybody says, why don't they come and clean it up? Well, they didn't make the mess, and we aren't learning from these lessons. We aren't learning from what happened with the banksters and the bailout there. We aren't learning any of these lessons that are coming down, and some are, but a large majority of the people are just turning on the news and hearing, everything's fine, everything's cool, no worries, and so they're going to have some even bigger lessons down the road, and that's what they've chosen to do. Those people who gain the wisdom from these experiences and that are moving out of the way of some of these other harder lessons are going to do fine. They're moving out of a system that is basically unsustainable and is on a downward spiral into total collapse. So those people will probably do fine. And but the people that want to hang in there to the last minute are going to go down with this boat that's fueled by, unbridled greed and reckless abandon for life on every level. And, it's a very sad thing. The ETs are sad that we've taken this choice. But their whole function is soul evolution. They really want us to gain the wisdom from these experiences. They want us to evolve. They want us to start living in harmony with each other and nature. They want us to stop warring on each other. And so, there's just a few people, a small group of people here that are actually behind all of these wars. They're behind the pollution. They're behind, the mass enslavement through dependency, and they're behind the lack. They're the ones that are creating this whole scenario. And as long as we continue to be sheep and allow this to happen, it's going to happen. It's very sad, but that's basically the bottom line. So anyway, basically the bottom line is the ETs didn't make the mess. There is wisdom to be gained, and we're seeing a really grand play acting out here as far as who is who and who is aligned with who. And, so you're going to see people that are not operating from impeccable integrity. They don't really care about the truth. They care about whichever truth is going to keep their pocketbook lined, basically. And basically, and then you have the other people that are digging at the truth, that are bringing this information out for everybody. So it's time to support those people that are bringing out the real information. Stop branding them as doom and gloomers or negative. They're bringing out the truth. The truth isn't negative. The truth is the truth. That's the bottom line. We can observe this with loving detachment. We can speak up when we need to speak up. We can love the planet, and because of that love, we can say what needs to be said. We can help educate these people that have taken a wrong turn, and they're on the downward spiral. We can't do it by remaining silent and by being a part of the problem. We're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. So I choose to be part of the solution. I choose to, pay attention to what's happening to this planet, pay attention to what's happening to humanity and the earth, and do all I can to bring it into alignment with the universal principles that are necessary for a healthy society and environment. And, those are principles like, brother, sisterly love, universal peace, individual freedom and prosperity for everyone. And there's no reason why we can't do that on this planet. We have basically everything we need to do that. We just have to kind of somehow get, back in control of the destiny of our own lives and the destiny of this planet, and start steering it, with those universal principles intact.
All right, our next listener question is, I have heard a lot about the ninth wave of unity consciousness and Mayan prophecy. Can you shed any light on this?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that, and I had Carl Coleman on the show and some other people that were very adept at this. And my understanding of it is the way this energy works, it's exponential in